Growing up, I had the worst teeth. I had cavities in every single tooth. I was always at the dentist. The only thing good about the dentist is they would give you a lollipop. And I really wish I would have known what I know now back then, because it could have saved me a lot of problems with my teeth. But I want to share with you the best two foods that you should be eating for your teeth. Now, you can skip forward to get right to those two foods, but I want to first talk about why you should consume these two foods. The first thing is vitamin A in relationship to your teeth and gums. Okay. Vitamin A supports a lot of things, but it's especially important in the internal skin and mucous membranes of your body, especially the gums. And vitamin A increases the resistance to infection of the mucous membranes. So if you're deficient in vitamin A, you're much more susceptible to getting an infection, especially of the gums. And there is a condition called pyorrhea, which is basically gum disease that occurs when you're vitamin A deficient. And so there's various degrees of gum problems. It starts out with inflammation of the gums called gingivitis, and then it can progress into something more serious called periodontitis, which involves more complications with the gums, redness, chronic halitosis, bad breath, infection, plaquing, things like that. One thing you should know about the plaque on your teeth, or tartar, that's not just bacteria. That is also candida, a type of fungus that can grow. So in your mouth, you have friendly bacteria and you have friendly yeast or fungus that keep everything in check. It's only when things get out of balance that you start developing an overgrowth of yeast and fungus and bacteria, and that can develop tartar and plaque. And the byproduct of those guys is acids that then create cavities. Now, of course, the thing that starts the whole thing is the fuel that you're feeding these pathogens, and that would be sugar. So people that have high sugar in the diet or carbohydrates have a lot more of the unfriendly bacteria in their mouth that create the cavities. And so this data between sugar and cavities was suppressed in the early 70s. There's some really interesting data I will share down below. So instead, they shifted their attention on saturated fats and away from sugar. But out of all the foods you should avoid for your teeth and gums, sugar is at the top of the list. So vitamin A is really, really important with your gums. Now, if you have periodontitis, okay, and you have enough vitamin C, you probably retain your teeth, okay? You're not going to lose your teeth, and you probably won't have as much bleeding. But if you actually combine a vitamin C deficiency, you'll tend to get loose teeth, or you'll lose a tooth and you'll have bleeding. So in scurvy, for example, which is a severe vitamin C deficiency, one indication of a vitamin C deficiency would be bleeding gums, because of what vitamin C does to your connective tissue. And it keeps the capillaries from leaking blood. So vitamin C is very important in keeping the connective tissue, especially of your gums, really nice and tight and strong, as well as building up your resistance to infection. So as you know, vitamin C is important in your immune system. Then we have vitamin B1. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because if you have a tooth that's hurting, you have like some nerve involvement, okay, neuritis. And vitamin B1 is the best remedy for any type of itis or inflammation of the nerve. So taking B1 can help a toothache. Now, of course, the underlying cause of that needs to be corrected, but at least can give you relief, as well as chewing on a clove, okay? Clove will help numb the tooth, okay? So you might want to try that as well. Now, then we have this thing called vitamin F. Now, what is vitamin F? Well, it's a combination of the omega fatty acids. And vitamin F works with calcium. It helps to unload calcium as one of its functions. So if you look at vitamin D and vitamin K2 and vitamin F, they all work in this one specific function of helping you absorb calcium, transport calcium, and then dumping calcium in the right places. So vitamin D is vital for absorbing calcium from your intestine to your blood. And then vitamin K2 is important in transporting calcium to the right areas of the body, to the bone, to the teeth. okay, and not in the wrong places. And then vitamin F has a function of helping unload this calcium and pushing it into the tissues. So, given that information, what foods would have most of these vitamins? Well, butter and cod liver oil. Okay. Now, when we're talking about butter, we're talking about grass fed, okay, and organic, or you can do the ghee. This is loaded with vitamin D, F, vitamin K2 especially, and vitamin A. Okay. And so all these are fat soluble nutrients or vitamins. So butter is really good for the teeth and gums. As a child, of course, with a lot of teeth problems, I craved butter so much. I would literally sit down and consume a stick of butter without even questioning it. I just love butter. And reflecting back is because I needed these nutrients. Okay. Unfortunately, I was consuming a massive amount of sugar and refined carbs at the same time. And one point about vitamin C and sugar is that the chemistry of sugar and vitamin C is very similar. So if you're consuming all the sugar, you're not going to be able to absorb vitamin C at the same time. Okay, so that was my problem. And the second food is cod liver oil. Now, why is cod liver oil so good for the teeth and gums? And why is it so unique and different from regular fish oils? Okay. Well, cod liver oil not only has the omega-3 fatty acids that other fish oils have, but it also has vitamin D and vitamin A, whereas other fish oils usually don't have vitamin D and vitamin A. So it has these two extra things that are very, very good for you. It's very difficult to get vitamin D from your foods, but cod liver oil has a really good amount of it. So with cod liver oil, you get these fat soluble vitamins and this nutrient, which is, you can call it a vitamin or you could just call it a essential fatty acid combination. Now, you could also do cod liver. You can buy this in a can. It's very fatty. It's actually quite delicious. I've recommended it. I will put a link down below. If you haven't tried it, you should try it. But it's a really good food. So it's actually, it comes in all the oil as well. But if you consume the whole thing, it's a bit too rich. So if you're going to consume it, you have like maybe half of it and then half the second day. But eat it up within 2 days, because if you leave it too long, it does get a little fishy. Okay. Eggs also have a lot of these fat soluble nutrients, and then greens. Okay. And I'm talking about leafy greens. That's the vitamin C, but you also have my favorite, which is sauerkraut or even kimchi. That's a great source of vitamin C, as well as probiotics and vitamin K2. So sauerkraut is really, really good for your teeth and gums. And then as far as the B vitamins go, nutritional yeast is a good source, but you have to realize that your gut also makes a lot of your B vitamins. So if you don't have the gut flora, or you've had antibiotics, chances are that could be the reason why you're deficient in Bs. So just realize that these microbes can give you these B vitamins as well. Now, probably the next best video for you to watch would be the one on cod liver oil. I've done quite a few, but this one is very interesting. Check it out.